want to achieve your goals, but you're trapped between two realities. Wanting to be disciplined, but not acting disciplined. The only way out is to open the box. And you open that box by taking action. Think about it. How often is it that you dream of getting the results you want? Getting fit, building that business, accomplishing something big, but then you stay stuck in the same place, too comfortable to change. You're trapped between desire and hesitation, alive with potential but not fully real yet. You have to open that box, and you open the box by taking action. So here's what you're going to do. Next time you procrastinate, next time that excuse pops up, take action instead. Force yourself, will yourself into motion to get that thing done. And I guarantee you that the second you start doing that is the second you start making progress towards your goals.
Believe in the impossible, not because it's easy, but because the alternative is settling for less than you're capable of. Convince yourself that you can do it, even when the odds are stacked against you. That belief isn't just your starting point. It's the fuel that gets you through the days when nothing seems to work. Doubt might visit, but it doesn't get to stay. Because when you refuse to give up on yourself, it's only a matter of time before you win.
Most of us live our lives on autopilot. We follow the rules society sets for us, chase goals that look good on paper, and silence the voice inside us screaming for something more. We're told what success is supposed to look like, what happiness is supposed to feel like, and what we're supposed to value. But deep down, many of us feel off. Something doesn't add up. Here's the truth. The quality of your life is determined by the quality of the questions you dare to ask yourself. When was the last time you paused and truly interrogated the life you're living? If you've been feeling stuck, overwhelmed, or even numb, maybe it's time to stop searching for quick fixes and start asking the uncomfortable question. But let me warn you, the answers won't always be comfortable. They might even scare you. That's okay. Growth isn't supposed to be easy. It happens when you confront the things you've been avoiding, when you strip away the layers of societal conditioning, and when you finally start living for yourself. Take a deep breath. Give yourself permission to be honest. This is about you and no one else. You deserve a life that feels real, not one that just looks good on the outside. Imagine for a moment that money and status didn't matter. Close your eyes and strip away every paycheck, every promotion, every successful image you've crafted for the world. What's left? What would you spend your days doing if money wasn't a factor? Who would you become if society's expectations were no longer weighing you down? For most of us, this question feels impossible to answer. Why? Because we've been conditioned to tie our worth to what we earn and how we're perceived. But let me ask you this. When you were a kid, before you knew what a good job or financial stability even meant, what lit you up? Was it painting, writing story, exploring nature? Think back to a time when your dreams weren't constrained by reality. That's where your truth lives. These desires aren't random. They're clues to what your soul truly wants. And remember, it's never too late to realign your life. You don't have to quit your job tomorrow or throw caution to the wind. But you do have to take that first step toward creating a life that reflects who you really are. How many of your decisions are shaped by what other people might think? Be honest. For most of us, the answer is too many. We're terrified of being judged, misunderstood, or rejected. So we play it safe. We bite our tongues. We conform. And in doing so, we silence the most important voice of all, our own. Now, imagine for a moment that you didn't care what anyone thought of you. Imagine you could speak your truth, boldly, unapologetically. What would you say? Maybe you'd finally tell someone you love them. Or maybe you'd admit that you don't love the life you've built. Maybe you'd stand up for yourself in a way you never have before. Or maybe you'd finally look in the mirror and admit the one thing you've been too scared to say out loud. Just let it out. Because here's the truth. The more you suppress your voice, the more you lose yourself. And the only way to reclaim your power is to start speaking your truth, no matter how scary it feels. Happiness. We all chase it, but do we even know what it is? Let me ask you something. When was the last time you felt genuinely happy? Think back. Was it a quiet moment with a loved one, watching a sunrise, losing yourself in a hobby? Happiness isn't found in stuff. It's found in moments. It's found in connection, creativity, and presence. But here's the tricky part. Happiness looks different for everyone. What lights you up might not light me up, and that's okay. The key is to figure out what your version of happiness looks like. In stillness. Here's the truth. Happiness isn't something you find, it's something you create. And it starts with knowing what truly matters to you. Once you figure that out, the next step is simple. Do more of it. Success. It's a word we hear constantly. But here's the question most of us never ask. What does success mean to me? For most people, the definition of success is handed to them. It's a good job, a big house, a fancy car, a picture-perfect family. It's climbing the corporate ladder or hitting a certain number in your bank account. While there's nothing wrong with those things, the problem arises when we adopt someone else's version of success without ever questioning. Let me ask you this. Are you chasing a version of success that actually fulfills you? Or are you chasing what you've been told you're supposed to want? It's okay to feel scared. It's okay to feel unprepared. These emotions are not signs of weakness, they're signs of being human. But don't let them hold you hostage. The courage to face what you've been avoiding is what will set you free. Start small. Maybe today you simply acknowledge what you've been hiding. Maybe tomorrow you take one step toward addressing it. The goal isn't to have it all figured out. The goal is to stop running. Because when you stop running, you give yourself the chance to heal, to grow, and to finally embrace the person you're meant to be. Asking these questions is only the beginning. The real transformation happens when you answer them honestly and then act on those answers. It's not easy. There will be moments when the truth feels too raw, too messy. You'll be tempted to turn away, to fall back into old patterns, to tell yourself, maybe someday. But here's the thing. Someday isn't promised. The only moment you have is right now. So start today. Sit with these questions. Write down your answers. Reflect on them deeply, unapologetically. And then ask yourself, what's one small step I can take towards living a life that feels real? Because that's what this is all about. It's not about perfection or having all the answers. It's about living a life that's aligned with who you truly are, not who the world expects you to be. When you start living authentically, something incredible happens. You stop chasing approval. You stop measuring your worth by external metrics. And instead, you begin to create a life that feels good on the inside. A life that brings you joy, peace, and fulfillment. So take the leap. Answer the questions. Face the fears.